Hello Monday presentation start with Bloomberg and Sarkozy's campaign speech targets ECB's role in boosting growth. French President Nicolas Sarkozy, speaking to the biggest rally of his re-election bid, said the European Central Bank should do more to promote economic growth, reviving an issue he raised in his 2007 campaign. On the question of the ECB's role in boosting growth, we French are going to open the debate, Sarkozy told a crowd today in central Paris. If Europe is not going to sink in the international economy, it must renew with growth. Now, that last thing makes no sense at all. It wouldn't have made sense in French either. If Europe is not going to sink in the international economy, it must renew with growth. Doesn't mean a thing. All it really means is the ECB should print up lots of money and give it to the governments, and the governments then having it, the politicians will be able to promote, get growth by spending that money. Free money, please, basically, is what it's about. Right. Next, we'll go to the New York Times. Sarkozy meets resistance over ECB. Brussels. The French President-elect Nicolas Sarkozy was warned by European finance ministers and central bankers on Tuesday that his plan to press the European Central Bank to focus more on bolstering growth would prove futile. Sarkozy won the presidency after a campaign in which he attacked the bank for restraining growth by concentrating on inflation, and charged that French exporters were being hurt by gains in the euro against the dollar. Now, he's up to it again because the date of that is May the 8th, 2007. He's still banging the same drum. I want free money and I want the euro to be pushed down in value against the dollar by the central bank. For 4 years, the central bank has just about resisted Sarkozy and other European political leaders' insistence that the central bank do their bidding. But it is slowly moving more towards their desires. This chart goes back to 2000, the euro area and the euro 27. Some countries in the European area use the euro currency, and some are just in the euro area, European area. But the unemployment rates are pretty damn similar. You can see the effect starting at 9% on this chart, 2000, going slightly better to 8%, got back up to 90%. In the great boom, the great moderation and housing boom, got all the way down to 7%, and that was good for Europe. But the crash up to 10%, and it seemed to level off and maybe start turning down again. But look at it at the end, and this is the problem for Sarkozy and all political leaders. Unemployment has started heading up north of 10% again. Inflation may drive Germany out of the Eurozone. Now, this is worth saying. There is one word that could upset the delicate balance of European monetary policy and pit Deutsche Bundesbank against the rest of the ECB, and that is inflation. Economic activity reported by the Bundesbank in its February 2012 monthly report says that inflationary expectations are building in Germany. Pressure that could undoubtedly derail an already strained European Union. But because much of the rest of the Eurozone is trapped in a deflationary spiral that demands accommodative monetary policy to offset it, this advent of German inflation is occurring under overly loose conditions for Germany. And the more that inflation pressure builds within Germany, the more the tension in this model rises, the greater will be the political problems within the European Union. Basically, Germany is used to the interest rates being set for Germany, or that have been about right for Germany, and now they're about wrong for Germany. They should be maybe even 5, 6, 7% to calm any inflation in Germany, because people will be piling into Germany because of that unemployment. Not a lot, not like in America where everyone speaks the same language and moving's easier. But a lot of people that can move are moving to Germany because that is where the jobs are. And that, among other things, and the fact that Germany's economy is doing quite well, inflation, because you've got interest rates so low, is a problem. I'll say the last little phrase that I've got going in my head after this. The chart speaks for itself. You've got the Bundesbank manufacturing output. You can see it plunged down in Germany for the recession, up, doing really very well, certainly compared to most other European countries, but it is plunging down again. This could save the day. Unfortunately, this is it, that because the rest of the Eurozone is doing so badly, Germany being a great exporter, exports will be hit quite a lot in Germany, which could cause the whole thing to deflate in Germany because they're an exporter and not having anybody to export to. This could save the day. Output growth slows to only marginal pace. Sharpest fall in new work for 3 months, but cost of inflation still the highest since July 2011. So hopefully for Germany, they will have a recession which causes inflation not to flare up in Germany. And it's so ridiculous that this, I think, is a fact, that really the best thing for Europe is a recession in Germany. Because in Mystic's opinion, my opinion, Germany will pay, they'll always moan and groan, but at the end of the day they will always pay for the Eurozone, even if the money goes nearly directly to places like Greece. Hundreds of billions they will pay every single year begrudgingly to keep things going, so not to be seen as the ones that blow the euro and eurozone up. But not if inflation is to any degree elevated in Germany. That will more than anything give them an excuse to say 9, enough, stop. They will pay at the end of the day, but not if there's inflation. Anyway, that's the end of that. So, as I say again, everybody should be praying for a recession in Germany. Isn't that bad? Yes, it is. To completely, no theme at all in the last 2 links. Indian skeptic charged with blasphemy for revealing secret behind miracle, again inverted commas, of the weeping cross. In India, if you read the article, this chap works for TV, was brought in to do one of these, you've seen them on the television, weeping cross expose. No, just go and see what's going on there. So make a television program out of it. He went down there and found that it was kind of pushed down into a leaking drain, and capillary reaction was coming up, and that was causing the leaking, the weeping cross the faithful were flocking to in India. So the church, because it's a cross, got the police to arrest the poor bastard. Right. Last, I just thought this was, I read an awful lot of articles. Most of them are economics and political. And I don't think many are really ever very well written. They're not, and the right balance between jogging along and facts is generally always wrong. And INET, I should mention INET. a week today, Monday, yep, I'll be in England for that week. Next week I'll be in England. So what I'll probably do is put up the INET conference speeches and do a little thing on them, as in give you the link to the video and say what I think might be worth watching in that, or what is that sort of thing. I'll probably do that next week, if I can even do that from England. I don't know what I'll be able to do. But anyway, you've seen conferences. People stand up at the end and do the Q&A at the end and ask a question. And this article is so wonderfully written. If you want to find out what I think is a wonderfully written article, read this article. And it's about how to ask that particular question. And it's just a beautifully written article. And you can see when you get to the INET things that nobody will ask the how to ask a question properly at all. Obviously their egos are too big. And quite a lot of the presentations were piss poor as well. All factually correct, but the presentation was piss poor. And unfortunately in today's day and age, your presentation has to be a little bit snappy, or you're wasting your time. It's sad, but there it goes. It doesn't matter how factually accurate you are. You've got to have the whole package. You've got to have the presentation as well. And a lot of the INET people, you've got to really concentrate to absorb their genius. And that's unfortunately sad, because with a little bit of extra work, they can present these things an awful lot better. Of the ones I've seen so far, Steve Keen has been the best. But that's presentation. There's been an awful lot of genius presentations, but Steve Keen's just happens to be the best snappy presentation. Okay, that's enough of that. I'll see you tomorrow. But as I say, I'm in England next week, and things will be different then. Bye.